following is a feature presentation of the Replay Sports Channel, the home for great games.
The road to Pantheon Bowl XXIV begins this weekend. Whether you're cheering for the Baltimore Stallions, St. Louis Battlehawks, Denver Gold, Las Vegas Outlaws, DC Defenders, Philadelphia Stars, Atlanta Legends, or the Arizona Wranglers, show your playoff pride with authentic replica jerseys from Royal Retros. Classic designs, premium quality, the perfect way to represent your team as the playoffs kick off. Don't just watch the action, wear it. Order your favorite team's replica jersey today from Royal Retros and use the discount code REPLAY to get 10% off your purchase. The link will be provided in the show's description. Good afternoon and welcome to Wildcard Saturday on the Replay Sports Channel. I'm your host, Glenn Walker. 4 teams, 2 playoff games, and by the end of today, we'll know 2 of the 4 teams that will advance to the next week's divisional round. First, it's the Baltimore Stallions traveling to St. Louis to face the Battlehawks in the American Conference. Then tonight, under the bright lights of the Horizon Dome, the Las Vegas Outlaws begin another championship quest against the Denver Gold. The current playoff format has historically favored home teams in this 5-4 matchup. Since 2000, number 4 seeds hold a commanding 36-18 record against number 5 seeds, but Baltimore enters believing that they're dangerous. The Stallions are making their first playoff appearance under the Baltimore banner, though the franchise itself isn't a stranger to postseason football. Through previous stops in Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and Barcelona, this organization has accumulated 27 playoff appearances and 5 league championships. This is Baltimore's first postseason berth in 3 years, and after back-to-back wildcard exits in their previous appearances, first-year head coach Liam Cohen is hoping to write a different ending. Everything starts with veteran quarterback Matthew Stafford. The future Hall of Famer threw for 3,414 yards and 22 touchdowns this season, while moving into 4th place all-time in WFL career passing yards with 56,811 yards. The experience factor cannot be overstated. Stafford has seen every defensive look imaginable in his career. If Baltimore is going to pull the upset, he'll have to be the best quarterback on the field. Helping Stafford is one of the league's most explosive weapons. Running back Saquon Barkley rushed for 1,083 yards and 15 touchdowns while averaging 5.7 yards per carry. He earned his 3rd All-Star selection as well. Baltimore's offense becomes far more dangerous when Barkley forces defense to respect the run. Tight end Jonnu Smith emerges as Stafford's most reliable target, hauling in 69 catches for 887 yards and 9 scores. Baltimore's keys to victory today: protect the quarterback. The Battlehawks rank 3rd in total defense and feature an aggressive pass rush led by linebacker Jonathan Grenard. They need to establish Barkley early. St. Louis allows fewer than 95 rushing yards per game on average and survive defensive injuries. Baltimore is coming into this game without Kayvon Thibodeau, Jimmy Ward, and Jaquan Brisker. That's a lot of leadership missing against the playoff opponent. On the other side of the field, the Battlehawks are back in the postseason for the 5th consecutive season. Head coach Chip Kelly enters his 10th year in St. Louis with a 98-96 career record. 2 more victories would make him just the 8th coach in WFL history to reach the century mark. Last season's journey ended in the conference championship against Las Vegas. This year, the Battlehawks want another shot. The biggest concern is at quarterback. Starting quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is out with a turf toe injury, forcing Cooper Rush into the spotlight. Rush has gone 0-3 as the starter. Rush now faces the challenge of leading a playoff offense against an experienced Baltimore secondary. The pressure isn't on Rush to throw for 350 yards. The pressure is on him to avoid mistakes. Battlehawks are missing some significant star power. We already mentioned Tagovailoa. Two starting wide receivers, the rookie Ladd McConkey and the veteran Devontae Smith, are out. The guard, Wyatt Teller, the tackle, Jordan Mailata, and two cornerbacks, Jamel Dean and Chevarius Ward. If this game turns ugly, don't be surprised. St. Louis is talented enough to win, but they're also one of the most injury-riddled playoff teams coming into the postseason. Kickoff from St. Louis is coming up next. The winner moves on to the divisional round and keeps their championship dream alive. Stay with us all day long for complete coverage of Wildcard Saturday right here on the Replay Sports Channel. Baltimore won the toss, but they have deferred to the second half. Gainwell back deep to receive. Full house here at Cobalt Arena as the kickoff of the 2025 playoffs
The kick from
begin.
man is down by Gainwell.
And we'll take a look at the starting St. Louis offense. Cooper Kupp getting the start at quarterback. Rhamondre Stevenson at the running back. Three wide receivers, replacing the two starting wide receivers, McConkey and Smith, that are out. It'll be Deontay Johnson, Tutu Atwell, and recently signed unrestricted free agent Rashee Rice. Sam Laporta start at tight end. Froholt will be at center. Scruggs Reed at guard. Thuney and Matthews are at tackle. As St. Louis breaks the huddle, they are in their all blues. Blue jerseys, blue pants, silver helmets, moving right to left across your screen. 1st and 10, ball at the St. Louis 25. Stevenson, the lone running back. Cooper under center, calling out the signals. They give us to Stevenson. Moves left into the line, stopped near the 30-yard line by Matthew Judon. We have an injured Baltimore player on the first play. Chason is heading to the sidelines. Let's take a look while we have a brief moment at the Baltimore defense. Stills and McDonald are the defensive ends. Pennell will be at nose tackle. Judon, Harris are the outside linebackers. TJ Edwards at middle linebacker. Slay and Witherspoon are the cornerbacks. Locke and Wilson are the safeties. Rasul Douglas will be at the nickel back. 2nd and 4 coming up. St. Louis running a 3 wide receiver, 1 running back set. Just underway here from St. Louis. Toss pitch left to Stevenson. Gets to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Stopped immediately by Locke, and it'll bring up 3rd and short for St. Louis. Third and 4 from the St. Louis 31. Rush moves back to the shotgun position. Rush with time to throw. Fires over the middle, but there's
Pass
a penalty.
Defense. Number 31, automatic. 1st down.
So pass interference called on the nickelback, Douglas. And that's an automatic first down. Our referee today is Alan Eck. So incomplete pass, but Douglas was draped all over Atwell. That'll move the ball to the St. Louis 43, fresh set of downs for the Battlehawks. James Conner comes in at running back to replace Stevenson. They'll go to a 4-wide receiver set here. Give to Conner up the middle. He's to the 45, midfield, and tackled by Wilson just inside Baltimore territory. They'll say he picked up 9 yards. Stevenson back into the game. We go to a 2 tight end formation for 2nd and 1. Handoff Stevenson into the left side of the line. He's got a first down. Pickup of 2, tackled by Harris at the Baltimore 46. First drive of the game, St. Louis already in Baltimore territory. No score. Three wide receivers set. Cooper calling out the signals. Play action. Cooper sets to throw. Looking downfield, he checks down to Atwell near the 40. Douglas with the tackle, pick up a 5. They'll bring up 2nd and 5. Twelve and a half minutes to go, no score, just underway here from Cobalt Arena. Handoff to Stevenson, right side, tackled by Edwards at the 33. First down, pickup of 8 yards. And St. Louis, despite missing several of their all-stars, Tua Tagovailoa, Ladd McConkey, tackle Jordan Mailata, Devontae Smith. They seem to be having no problems moving the ball down the field here early. Conner back into the game at running back. Rush pitches right to Conner, looking for an opening, and he's caught in the backfield by Edwards. A loss of 6. And that'll bring up 2nd and 16. Cooper Rush moves to the pistol. Back to pass. Short out to Johnson inside the 35, and he's pushed out of bounds by Slay. They'll give him a pickup of 7. It'll bring up 3rd and 9. Empty backfield on 3rd and 9. Needs to get to the Baltimore 23 to pick up the first down. Rush. Back to pass. Over the middle. Completes it to Atwell, and he's immediately tackled by Douglas. First down, St. Louis. Under 10 minutes to go. And St. Louis is driving methodically down the field. two tight end formation, one running back. Rush from the gun. Back to pass. Quick out to Rice inside the 20. Tackled immediately by Witherspoon, a pickup of 4. Rice picked up as a free agent earlier this week because of the injuries to Devontae Smith and Ladd McConkey. Brings up 2nd and 6. Twelfth play of the drive. Rush pitches right to Stevenson, looking for an opening. He's near the 15. He's pushed out by Goldman. Pickup of 2. They'll mark the ball at the 15-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and 4. Three wide receivers set. Stevenson, the lone running back. Rush with time over the middle to Atwell inside the 5. He's into the end zone for a touchdown. Tutu Atwell. 15-yard touchdown pass from Rush to Atwell, and St. Louis strikes first. A 13-play, 75-yard drive that nearly took up 7.5 minutes. Bass adds on the point after, and St. Louis lays down a marker. 7:36 to go. Battlehawks 7, Stallions nothing. Pierce is back deep to receive the kickoff. And this one goes through the end zone for a touchback. Let's take a look at the Baltimore offense. Matthew Stafford in his 16th WFL season will be getting the start at quarterback. Saquon Barkley is the running back. Trey Tucker, Greg Dortch are the wide receivers. Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith are the tight ends. Karras will be at center. Sumalu and Dotson are the guards. Alt and Dawkins are at the tackle position. Stallions, silver helmets, silver pants, white jerseys, moving left to right across your screen. One running back, two tight end formation. Stafford under center, calling the plays. Play action, Stafford to throw. Checks underneath to Barkley. Maybe right back to the line of scrimmage. Henley with the stop. They'll bring up 2nd and 10. Let's take a look at that St. Louis defense. Walker and Foskey are the defensive ends. Kinlaw, Tillery are the defensive tackles. Owe and Grenard are the outside linebackers. Henley, who just made the tackle, at middle linebacker. Arnold and Murphy are the cornerbacks. Bates and Branch are the safeties. Dean, Branch, and Bates are a part of a record 9 members who made the All-Stars squad for St. Louis in the American Conference. Second and 10. Stafford moves to the pistol. Halfway through the first quarter, Stafford throws a screen to Barkley, gets to the 30, 35, pushed out of bounds by Henley near the 36. It's a first down for Baltimore. Zach Charbonnet comes in at running back. First and 10, ball at the Baltimore's 36. Throw far side, looking for Tucker, incomplete. I'll stop the clock with 6 minutes to go in the first quarter. 2nd and 10. As we talked about in the pregame, keys for Baltimore victory: establish the run early and protect Matthew Stafford. Barkley back in the game at running back. Baltimore moves to a 3 wide receiver set. Stafford back to throw. Throws, completes to Tucker this time. He's got the first down. Gets shoved out of bounds near midfield by Arnold. A pickup of 12. Another fresh set of downs for Baltimore. Ball will be placed at the Baltimore 48. Battlehawks scoring on their first possession to give to Charbonnet into the right side of the line. No gain. Walker with the stop. St. Louis defense on average only allows 95 rushing yards per game from their opponents. Tough defense to run against. More personnel changes coming in for Baltimore. 3 wide receiver set. Barkley back in at running back. Second and 10. Stafford drifts to his right, completes the pass to Tucker near the 40. Arnold with the tackle. It's going to be a few inches shy of the first down. They'll bring up 3rd and short. Full house backfield in for Baltimore. Man in motion. Will be a quarterback keeper. Handoff to Barkley. Plunges into the line. He's got it and more. Past the 40. Stopped at the 33 by Bates. First down, Baltimore. Both teams' offenses moving the ball very successfully here in the first quarter. Under 4 minutes to go. Opening period, first game of the Wildcard playoffs between Baltimore and St. Louis. Stafford to pass on first down. Screen to Barkley. Penalty flag. He stopped at the 30 by Henley.
Offense, number 76, 10-yard penalty.
And the left tackle Alt will be called for holding. That's going to move Baltimore back to the St. Louis 43. It'll bring up 1st and 20. Liam Cohen in his first year as head coach of Baltimore. He was a former offensive coordinator with Tampa Bay. Part of that Pantheon Bowl winning team last year. Getting a head coaching gig this year and leading Baltimore to the playoffs. Three wide receivers set. Stafford calling plays from the pistol. Back to pass with time. Throws over the middle. Picked off by Branch at the 27. Brian Branch with his interception. All-star selection for the AFC. And the Stallions turn the ball over. Looking back at the replay there, I think Byron Murphy deflected the pass, and Branch was able to bring the ball in. So 1st and 10, St. Louis. They'll start their second possession from their own 27. They lead it 7-0. Stevenson, the lone running back. Rush changing the play at the line. He's going to pass. Safety blitz picked up. Pass complete to Rice at the 40. Tackled by Witherspoon. And it's 1st down, St. Louis. Rush has completed his first 6 passes in this game. Hand off to Stevenson into the left side of the line, goes to the 45. McDonald with the tackle at the 48, a pickup of 7 for Stevenson. Rush, as we talked about early in the pregame, having to take over quarterbacking duties for Tua Tagovailoa, who 4 weeks ago suffered the turf toe injury. We're hoping to have him back this week, but if St. Louis does win in advance, they hope to have Tua back in the divisional round. Second and 3. 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Play action. Rush sets to throw. Completes it to Johnson near side, near the 45. Slay with a stop. A pickup of 10 and another 1st down for St. Louis. They mark the ball at the Baltimore 42. St. Louis, having lost their last 3 games, have come out firing on all cylinders here. Hand off to Stevenson into the right side of the line. He stopped near the 35 by Witherspoon. A pickup of 7, brings up 2nd and short. Could be the last play of the quarter. Rush back to pass. Checks down to Stevenson. He is hit by Edwards. Loss of 1. And that'll bring us to the end of an exciting first quarter for St. Louis fans as they lead it 7-0. You're watching the WFL on Replay Sports Channel. The WFL utilizes real NFL players and the advanced simulation capabilities of DK Sports Action PC Football. The WFL strives to create a thrilling, strategic, and statistically rich football environment that balances realism with innovation. We've completed 1 quarter of play. St. Louis scoring on the game's opening possession, a rush 15-yard touchdown pass to Atwell. And Gridiron Awards coming up the Friday night before Pantheon Bowl XXIV, which takes place in Cobalt Arena in St. Louis. During our Wildcard Weekend games, we like to take a moment to highlight some of the major awards. And today, during our first game, we'll be talking about the candidates for Rookie of the Year. Here they are. From the Denver Gold, tight end Brock Bowers. And from the St. Louis Battlehawks, Ladd McConkey. And quarterback for the Birmingham Americans, Bo Nix. These are the 3 nominees up for the 2025 Rookie of the Year. Again, those winners, along with others, will be announced Friday night before Pantheon Bowl 24. So make sure to hit like and subscribe to the Replay Sports channel, and you can watch the awards ceremony, the Gritties, in all its glitz and glamour here on the Replay Sports channel. So back to live action. St. Louis scored on the first possession. If you're just joining us, Baltimore was driving, but Matthew Stafford was intercepted by Branch. And now St. Louis driving again in Baltimore territory as we start quarter number 2. They're facing 3rd and 4. Four wide receivers set. Rush changing the play at the line. Rush back to pass. Penalty flag thrown. Pass complete to Jones. Let's see who the penalty's on.
Offsides. Defense. Number 2. 5-yard penalty.
So St. Louis will decline because they picked up 6 yards and the first down. With that play, St. Louis has already accumulated 106 yards in total offense in this game. 1st and 10, ball at the Baltimore 30. Cooper Rush, 9 of 9 for 71 yards. He'll pass again here on first down, and incomplete near the 20 for Atwell. I guess the announcer jinx took hold there. First incomplete pass of the afternoon for Cooper Rush. Brings up 2nd and 10. Hand off to Stevenson, down the sideline, 20, finally tripped up by Locke at the 15. A pickup of 15 yards. And St. Louis is in the red zone, knocking on the door once again. Stevenson with 8 carries, 47 yards in this ball game. First and 10, just starting the second quarter. Baltimore is going to call a timeout. Several players did not appear to be ready to go there. 14:15 left in the second quarter. Battlehawks lead at 7-0. Ball at the Baltimore 15. Laporta will move into the slot. Safety blitz picked up. Pass complete to Laporta at the 10 to the 5. Touchdown St. Louis. Laporta makes the catch. Locke misses a crucial tackle, and then it's just the barn door is just wide open. So 2 Cooper Rush touchdown passes from 15 yards out. The first one to Atwell, this one to Laporta. Pass on for the extra point, it's good. And St. Louis has jumped out to a 14-0 lead with 14:07 left in the second quarter. Couldn't ask for a better start for St. Louis. kickoff will be downed in the end zone, and Baltimore will start their second possession from their own 25. So Liam Cohen and his Baltimore Stallions have their work cut out for them. It's still early. Stafford under center, Barkley the lone running back, two tight end alignment. Barkley gets the handoff into the right side of the line. He's to the 30, tripped up by Bates at the 34 after a pickup of 9 yards. Barkley with a 1,000-yard season, 15 touchdowns, averaging 5.7 yards per carry this season. Earned him his third All-Star selection. Stallions need a yard. Give to Barkley, up the middle. This is going to be close. Bates with the stop. And the ball is marked inches shy of the first down. Full house backfield in for the Stallions. Man in motion. Give to Pierce. Plunges into the line. He has the first down more. 40, 50. Into St. Louis territory. Pierce finally stopped by Bates at the 29. A 36-yard run by Damian Pierce. Bates makes the touchdown-saving tackle. And Baltimore in great field position. Barkley, the lone running back. Ball at the St. Louis 29. Give to Barkley. Right side is to the 25. Walker with a stop at the 22. Second and 3. Stafford hands off to Barkley into the left side of the line. Bates there with the stop. Loss of 1. It'll bring up 3rd and 4. Crucial 3rd down here for the Stallions early in this one. Four wide receivers set. Stafford calling the signals from the shotgun. Back to pass. Looking. Fires. Deflected by Pinnock. Incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down. And Liam Cohen's going to send out the field goal kicking team. Rookie Joshua Carty in for a 41-yard field goal attempt to give Baltimore their first points. The kick is up and good. So with 10:14 left to go in the second quarter, the Stallions trail by 11, 14-3. Gainwell back to receive the kickoff. And he'll watch that one sail through the end zone for the touchback. First of 2 games today after we're done here in St. Louis. We'll take you to Las Vegas for the Denver Gold and the Las Vegas Outlaws wildcard game. First and 10. Battlehawks starting from their own 25. Rush. Hands off to Stevenson, penalty flag. Stevenson avoids a tackle. He's to the 30, the 40, tackled by Wilson.
Number 55, 5-yard penalty.
So Stills got the early jump over the line. St. Louis will decline the penalty as Stevenson with a 21-yard pickup. He now has run the ball 9 times and has gained 68 yards. Ball will be marked at the St. Louis 46. Rush pitches right to Stevenson, trying to get around the right end. He's near midfield, tiptoes along the line, and finally falls out of bounds at the Baltimore 43, but not before picking up 11 yards. First down again, St. Louis. They've picked up 12 first downs in this game. Head coach Chip Kelly has put together a good game plan here so far. In his 10th year with the Battlehawks, just 2 wins away from reaching 100 for his career. He'd be only the 8th coach in WFL history to reach 100 wins. Rush, play action, completes the pass Atwell at the 35. He's finally corralled down by Douglas at the Baltimore 31. First and 10, Battlehawks. Rush having probably his best day since taking over the starting position for the injured Tua Tagovailoa. Safety blitz. Stevenson gets the handoff. He gets away from 2 tacklers in the backfield. Finally tackled by Pinnell at the 29, a pickup of 2. A lot of dancing and spinning just to get out of the backfield. Second and 8, ball to Baltimore 29. Stallions need to find something here defensively. Stevenson to the 25, whipped down by Stills. Pickup of 5. Stevenson has reached 86 yards. Third and 3. Rush steps back into the pistol. Back to pass. Throws to Johnson at the 15. Hit by Slay. And it'll be first and 10, a pickup of 13 yards. Rush 12 of 13 for 111 yards. We're halfway through the second quarter. The Battlehawks are in the red zone for the 3rd time. .200 yards of offense, and we're not even at halftime yet. Handoff to Stevenson, tackled by McDonald at the line of scrimmage. Give to Stevenson into the right side of the line. He's inside the 10. Tackled by Edwards at the 7. bring up 3rd and 6. They need to get to the Baltimore 1 to pick up a first down. Baltimore showing blitz. Rush back to pass. He's under pressure. Forced to run. Finally brought down by Harris at the 5. A pickup of 2. Baltimore's defense holds. And that will force St. Louis to kick a field goal. Tyler Bass will be attempting a 23-yard field goal. Snap, kick, it's good. With 4:31 left until halftime, it's been all Battlehawks so far. They've scored on every possession, and they lead it 17-3. Halftime, we'll review the first half and take a look ahead at the Denver-Las Vegas game coming up next. Bass puts toe to leather, and that one sails through the end zone for a touchback. 4.5 minutes. Baltimore did defer on the coin toss, so they could get something going here and then get the ball back to start the second half. Could be a different ball game. Rough start for the Stallions. Stafford under center, Barkley the lone running back. 2 tight end formation. Barkley will get the handoff. Right side of the line, 30, 35. He has the first down. Tripped up by Murphy at the 37, a pickup of 12 yards. Charbonnet into the game for Barkley. To give to Charbonnet, left side of the line, pickup of 2. Barkley back into the game. 3.5 minutes to go. Crucial series here for Baltimore, and St. Louis will call a timeout. Stopping the clock at 3:19. Both teams with 2 timeouts left in the first half. After the timeout, Barkley with the handoff, and he is stopped by Branch a yard back at the 38. That'll bring up 3rd and 9. Four wide receivers set in for Baltimore. Stafford from the pistol, back to pass, penalty flag thrown. Smith-Schuster makes the catch near the 50.
Encroachment defense. Number 54, 5-yard penalty.
So Baltimore will decline the penalty, take the gain of 11 yards, and pick up the first down. Clock stops with 2.5 minutes. Empty backfield behind Stafford. With time. Oh, that was nearly picked off.
Pass interference, defense. Number 32, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And contact was there a little early, and so Branch is called with the DPI. 5 yards and a fresh set of downs. Clock stops at 2:27. First called penalty on St. Louis today. blitz. Stafford gets rid of it in time.
Roughing the passer, defense. Number 58, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Grenard coming around that right end, nailed Stafford as he threw the ball. So just like that, Baltimore is at the St. Louis 31, and we're not even at the 2-minute warning yet. Stafford back to pass. Over the middle to Smith at the 25. Tackled by Branch. Stafford hurrying up to the line, going no huddle. Wants to try to get one more play in before the 2-minute warning. Looking, waiting, throws. Intercepted. Byron Murphy with the pick. Murphy had 6 interceptions in the regular season. And another turnover committed by Stafford. We've reached the 2-minute warning. Battlehawks with an opportunity to add another score here before halftime. Play action, pressure up the middle. Rush completes the pass to Rice at midfield. And he's angled out of bounds by Witherspoon. That'll stop the clock with 1:54. Rush back to pass. Over the middle, completes to Rice inside the Baltimore 40. Tackled by Witherspoon, pickup of 9. Rush hurries the team to the line. Over the middle to Johnson near the 30. That's a first down. Blitz up the middle. Rush completes the pass to Rice inside the 20. 10. Touchdown, St. Louis. The Battlehawks are beginning to run away with this one. And Cooper Rush is having one of his best games as a professional. A 31-yard touchdown pass to Rashee Rice. Pass on for the point after attempt. Up and good, and with 1:12 left to go until halftime, the Battlehawks 24, the Stallions 3. Pierce will be back deep to receive the kickoff. Stallions have 1:12 and 2 timeouts to try to add some points before halftime. And it's just all gone wrong for St. Louis today, for Baltimore today. Stafford in trouble. Has to run out from the pocket. He's to the 30, 35. Picks up the first down. Hurries him up to the line. Looking downfield for Tucker, incomplete. That'll stop the clock with 47 seconds left. Completes the pass to Woods near the 45. He's hit immediately by Melton. And Stafford's going to be forced to use his second timeout. Stops the clock with 43 seconds left. 3rd and 3 coming up. Four wide receivers set, empty backfield behind Stafford. Throws near side in the direction of Dortch, but it's incomplete. Cohen will keep his offense out there on 4th down. Stafford fires over the middle, incomplete. It was intended for the tight end Smith. So the Battlehawks will get the ball on the change of possession at the Baltimore 43. They have 2 timeouts, 36 seconds. What will they do here? Rush pitches right to Connor. And he's hitting the backfield by Stills on a loss of 3. And Chip Kelly wants a timeout. Stops the clock with 30 seconds left. Four wide receiver set, no tight ends. Connor in at running back. Rush operating from the gun. Back to pass. Completes to Jones near the Baltimore 40. Tackled by Wilson. Kelly will use his final timeout with 26 seconds left. Four wide receiver set, empty backfield behind Rush. Sets up the pass with time, completes it to Jones near the 35, trying to angle to get out of bounds, but he's not able to. The clock is still running. Rush hurrying them up to the line. Fourth down. Needs 2. Completes the pass to Rice. Rice trying to get out of bounds. And he does. They pick up the first down. They stop the clock with 11 seconds. So Kelly will send Bass out for the field goal attempt. We're waiting on the Alan Eck and his crew to make sure about the placement of the football. They're having a brief discussion down there. So everything's squared away now. Bass comes on for a 50-yard field goal attempt. Long enough and good. The Battlehawks, with 6 seconds left in the first half, have opened up a 24-point lead on the Baltimore Stallions. Look for a squib kick here from Bass. Picked up by Woods, and he slides down to 35, and that will mercifully end the first half for the Baltimore Stallions. They have another half to go, but a lot of work to do. St. Louis Battlehawks, what a first half performance, but the work is not done. They lead at 27-3 as we go to halftime. Just a reminder, Replay Sports Channel, the road to the Pantheon Bowl XXIV starts this weekend. Whether or not you're cheering for Baltimore, St. Louis, Denver, Vegas, DC, Philadelphia, Atlanta, or Arizona, show your playoff pride with authentic replica jerseys from Royal Retros. Classic designs, premium quality, the perfect way to represent your team as the Wildcard playoffs kick off. Don't just watch the action, wear it. Order your favorite team's replica jersey today from Royal Retros and use the discount code REPLAY to get 10% off your purchase. The link will be provided in the show's description. And Glenn Walker joining again from Replay Sports Channel Studios. And the St. Louis Battlehawks are halfway to moving on from the wild card stage to the divisional round. Their opponent will be determined by tomorrow's game, the DC Defenders at the Philadelphia Stars. That will be the early game tomorrow. And of course, later on today, we have the Denver Gold at the Las Vegas Outlaws. A Denver win means that they will travel to San Diego and play the Fleet next week. A Las Vegas win means they will go to Birmingham. Then, of course, tomorrow, the late game will be Atlanta at Arizona. So we take a look at the first half. It has been all St. Louis. First drive of the game, nearly 7.5 minutes, 13 plays, 75 yards, rush, 15-yard touchdown pass to Tutu Atwell, made it 7-0. A Baltimore turnover, Stafford interception, led to the next St. Louis score early in the second quarter. Rush, 15-yard touchdown pass to tight end Sam Laporta. Baltimore finally got on the board. Cardi 41-yard field goal made it 14-3. Bass added a field goal from 23 to make it 17-3. And then another Stafford interception set up Rush's 31-yard touchdown pass to Rice to make it 24-3. And then finally Bass 50-yard field goal made it 27-3. As we look at the numbers, again, just all St. Louis. 277 total yards to 143 for Baltimore. If you look at time of possession, St. Louis has had the ball for just over 18 minutes. And red zone. 3 trips to the red zone, they've scored each time. Comparing the players, Matthew Stafford, 7 of 14, 58 yards, the 2 interceptions, and then the abysmal quarterback rating. Cooper Rush, what a game he's having. 19 of 20, 185 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a phenomenal quarterback rating. Saquon Barkley trying to get going there, 7 carries for 36 yards. Rhamondre Stevenson having a great afternoon, 14 carries for 90 yards. Barkley and Tucker lead Baltimore in receptions. They both have 2 each. Rashee Rice, who a week ago was not on a WFL team, already has 6 catches and 74 yards and a touchdown since being signed by St. Louis because of the injuries to Ladd McConkey and Devontae Smith. So, in the second half, Baltimore needs to, again, eliminate the mistakes. They need to get Barkley the ball, and they need to sustain drives and get touchdowns. Very clear and to the point, and they need to stop St. Louis drives. They need to provide some 3 and outs here to get the St. Louis offense off the field. And we'll get ready to take you back to Cobalt Arena, the site of Pantheon Bowl XXIV. We'll be back here in a month for the big game. St. Louis will kick off. Baltimore will get a shot to get back in the game. I'm pretty sure Liam Cohen and his coaching staff have done their best to get Baltimore back in this game strategically. As Bass boots the kick through the end zone for a touchback. First and 10, ball to Baltimore 25. Give to Barkley up the middle and maybe 2. Bates has been the tackling machine today for St. Louis. Second and 8. Hand off Charbonnet, right side of the line. He gets near the 35. They think he has the first down, but Chip Kelly's going to throw that red challenge flag, and referee Alan Eck will take a look at the iPad to see whether or not Baltimore picked up the first down.
Upon further review, the runner was stopped short of the first down. No timeout will be charged.
That was a good challenge by Coach Kelly. Third and inches. Full house backfield in for the Stallions. Ball to Barkley, first down and more, and he's dragged down by Bates at the Baltimore 49, a pickup of 14 yards. I would think one way to keep the St. Louis offense off the field is to have some longer drives that result in touchdowns and not field goals or interceptions. Just my thought. Barkley with the handoff into the right side of the line, and Kinlaw is not going to give him an inch. Stops him at the line of scrimmage. Two tight end, 2 wide receivers set for the Stallions. Barkley keeps trying to work that right side. He's into St. Louis territory. Arnold trips him up by the ankle. A pickup of 8, 3rd and 2. Both teams did really well on 3rd down in the first half. Baltimore was 4 of 6. St. Louis 5 of 7. Three wide receivers set. Stafford under center, play action. He's going to throw over the middle. Murphy with the deflection. And Cohen, no hesitation here. He's going to leave the offense out on the field. down by 24 points early in the third quarter. Two tight end formation. Barkley, the lone running back. St. Louis crowd trying to make themselves heard. Handoff to Barkley. He has the first down. Grenard with the tackle at the 40. Moving the chains. First and 10, play action. Stafford backs to throw, completes it to Dortch inside the 30, 25, 20, 10. Branch with the tackle at the 11. First downs, Baltimore. First trip inside the red zone today for the Stallions. Hand off to Barkley, trying to go around right end. And Henley's just been a stop sign here. Second and 10. Three wide receivers in for Baltimore. Stafford back to throw, throws to Woods at the 5, hit, fumble. Who's got the ball? It's recovered by St. Louis. Pinnock with the forced fumble and the fumble recovery. Nothing is going right for the Stallions today. Third turnover of the afternoon. It seems like when Baltimore gets close, the comedy of errors begin. A shot of Baltimore head coach Liam Cohen just shaking his head in disbelief. 9:30 to go in the third quarter. Battlehawks start their first possession of the second half from their own 4-yard line. Stevenson gets the handoff into the right side of the line, stopped near the 10 by Harris. Be a pickup of 6 yards. Stafford on the Stallions sideline looking at the iPad, trying to think of something they can do to get on the scoreboard. Rush from the pistol. Penalty flag. Pass incomplete.
Defense. Number 69. 5-yard penalty.
And Pinnell jumped a little too early. And 5 yards will give St. Louis a first down. Back to throw on first down. Looking to dump it off to Atwell, but it's incomplete. Stops the clock with 8.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Draw to Stevenson. He's to the 15. They'll mark him at the 16. 1-yard gain tackled by Wilson. He'll bring up 3rd and 9. 4 wide receiver set. Rush operating from the pistol. Corner blitz. Picked up. Checks down to Atwell, the 20. And tackled immediately by Douglas. And newsflash, we're going to see a punt by St. Louis for the first time today. Sam Martin will be punting. Dortch is the returner for Baltimore. So a small moral victory for Baltimore. Punt away. Dortch will signal for the fair catch at the Baltimore 26. 7:14 to go in the third quarter. Liam Cohen having a quick word with his quarterback before Stafford comes back out. Three turnovers today. That's been the story for the Stallions. Screen to Charbonnet, but no gain. Henley. It's been like a heat-seeking missile here in the second half. Six tackles, and I think half of them have been just in the third quarter. Second and 10. Hand off to Barkley. Right side. Gets near the 30. Taken down by Murphy. A pickup of 4. Third and 6. They need to get to their 36 for the first down. Pass complete to Woods. He's got the first down. Oh no, they say it's short, and Cohen's going to challenge this one. Eck is handed the iPad to take a look.
Ruling on the field is confirmed. A timeout will be charged.
I tell you, I'm watching the replay here on our monitor, and I thought he had it. That ball looked like it was over the line. But again, you're down 24 points. You got to go for it here. Caleb Williams, the backup quarterback, the rookie quarterback, is in at quarterback. They usually bring him in situations like this. Man in motion. Williams on the keeper. Gets the first down. So 2-yard pickup. And Baltimore keeps the ball with 5.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Stafford back into the game. Pass completes to Henry. Pickup of 7. The St. Louis defense comes in today's game as advertised. 3rd in the league in total defense. 3rd in the league in pass defense. 5th in the league in run defense. Charbonnet still in at running back. Stafford to throw. He was looking for Henry, but over his head, incomplete. Now bring up 3rd and 3. Three wide receivers set. Barkley, the lone running back. Stafford's going to throw, completes to Tucker, but he's going to be short of the first down. No, they're going to give him the first down. I initially thought he didn't have it. First and 10. Clock continues to move. Swing pass to Barkley. He's at the 50 and shoved out of bounds by Hindley at the St. Louis 49. Clock stops 3:25. And off to Barkley, left side of the line. He's hit, fumble. And it's recovered by Samalo, the left guard. So Baltimore fans were just holding their breath there for a second. Pickup of 8 on the play, first down. Baltimore needs to get moving here. Down by 24. Pass completes to Woods. Knocked out of bounds near the 30. We have an injured St. Louis player. Wilkins is heading right to the sidelines and is being directed to the blue medical tent. Clock stops with 1:56 to go in the third quarter. Hand off to Charbonnet into the left side of the line. He's inside the 30, tackled by Ojabo at the 26. Pick up a 5. Under 2 minutes to go. Hand off to Barkley, left side of the line. First down, 20, 10. Brought down at the 4 by Branch. A 22-yard run. First and goal for the Stallions, and for Barkley, he's accumulated 97 yards today. And we're going to see Caleb Williams and the short yardage team back out on the field. Williams on the keeper. Into the end zone, touchdown. Signs of life still for the Stallions. And Liam Cohen's keeping the offense out there. They're going to go for 2. Triple tight end formation. Sweep right, touchdown. Makes the score 27-11. And 2-score game with just 6 seconds left in the third quarter. Gainwell back to receive for St. Louis. Kick away. In and out of the end zone for a touchback. Hand off to Stevenson, right side of the line, 30. Dragged down by Locke at the 40, and with that run, Rhamondre Stevenson is over the 100-yard mark. Has 112 for the day, and that marks the end of the third quarter. 15 minutes left to go in this one. St. Louis with a 27-11 lead. Opening game of WFL Wildcard Weekend. Stay tuned for the fourth quarter coming up next.
Is copyrighted by the WFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions or accounts of the game without the WFL's consent is prohibited.
"15 minutes left to go here. But Baltimore is not done. They managed a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to make it a 16-point game. Make sure to stay tuned after the game. We'll announce the Replay Sports Channel Player of the Game before we take you out to Las Vegas for the Denver-Las Vegas game. Game 2 of our Saturday wildcard playoff games. Here we go. Hand off to Stevenson. Into the left side of the line, hit by Locke near the 45. Stevenson on the day, 18 carries, 117 yards. Second and 5 from the St. Louis 45. Rush throws, but it's tipped at the line. Intended for Stevenson. Now bring up 3rd and 5. Four wide receivers set in for the Battlehawks. Rush back to pass. Completes it to Rice at the 50. Into Baltimore territory. 45, 40, 30, 20, 10. And finally brought down by Wilson at the 7. A 48-yard reception. So Rashee Rice not with a team until earlier this week when he was signed by the Battlehawks. Battlehawks are without Ladd McConkey, Devontae Smith, and I think Rice has found himself a home. 1st and goal, St. Louis, ball at the Baltimore 7. Roll out, Rush, looking to throw, end zone, incomplete. He's looking for Johnson there. They'll bring up 2nd and goal. Three wide receivers set in for St. Louis. Stevenson, the lone running back. Rush is going to throw again, this time over the middle, and incomplete to Atwell. Bring up 3rd and goal. Delayed handoff to Stevenson. Up the middle, tackled by Judon near the 5. It'll be a pickup of 2, and it'll bring up 4th and goal. And Chip Kelly's going to send out Bass for the field goal. This should be a chip shot. Attempt from the 24. Yards out. Snap, hold, kick is up and good. And St. Louis with a 30-11 score line, looking to advance to the divisional round of the playoffs next week. Pierce, the deep man, received the kickoff from Bass. Touchback. Baltimore will start from their own 25. 12:42 to go here in the fourth quarter. Play action, Stafford back to pass, being chased, hit as he throws. Pass incomplete. Grenard coming around right in. No flag for roughing the passer. Bring up second down. Screen pass for Barkley. That one's a little bit too far ahead of him, incomplete. The rookie Joe Alt has had his hands full today going against Grenard. Grenard and Pay, who's not playing today because of injury, accounted for 15 combined sacks this season. 3rd and 10 coming up. Stafford working out of the gun. 4 wide receivers set. Back to pass. Fires, completes to Tucker. Near the first down, angled out of bounds. Knocked out by Byron Murphy. They're going to say he's a yard short. Down 30-11. Liam Cohen does not have that much of a choice. They've got to go for it here on 4th down. Caleb Williams back in. On the short yardage. Needs to get to the Baltimore 35. Williams going to hand off to Barkley. He's going to be hit by Henley. Stopped at the line. Turnover on downs. And listen to that crowd. Praise that defense as they head back to the sidelines. Just a look of frustration on the sideline of the Stallions there. 1st and 10 from the Baltimore 34. Stevenson into the right side of the line. Gets to the 30. Brought down by Edwards at the 28, a pickup of 6. 20 carries on the day from Rhamondre Stevenson, 125 yards. He's got to be the leader for consideration for Replay Sports Channel Player of the Game. We'll find out at the conclusion of this one. Still to come, Denver at Las Vegas. The second half of our Saturday wildcard game. Play action, rush to pass. Over the middle, Rice at the 20. Tackled immediately by Witherspoon. 8 catches on the day for Rice, 132 yards. Rush now 22 of 27 for 247 yards. It's a first down. Clock continues to roll. Pitch left to Stevenson. Into the line, 10, 5, touchdown. And the route is on here in St. Louis. Stevenson with an 18-yard touchdown. And St. Louis looking very much like the team it did in the mid-season, as Bass adds the extra point. 9:59 to go, and the Battlehawks look to be moving on to the divisional round. They'll find out tomorrow after the DC-Philadelphia game whether or not they will go to play at New Jersey or Chicago. No return on the kickoff. As Matthew Stafford leads the beleaguered Stallions offense back out on the field. Handoff to Barkley into the right side of the line, just down to the 30, finally hit out of bounds by Walker. Barkley, very little consolation in this, reaches 100 yards, 18 carries, 103 yards. There was a penalty flag on the play, but Alanek has picked up the flag, no penalty. At the midpoint of the season, Baltimore was 4-3 and then went 3-4 during the second half of the season. Hovered around 500 for most of the season. In the same division, of course, with New Jersey and Philadelphia. As the minutes tick away, it looks like they will be getting started on a off season here a lot sooner than they wanted to. Three wide receivers set in for the Stallions. Play action. Stafford over the middle. Tucker had it. Incomplete. He is claiming that Murphy arrived early, but no flag forthcoming. Going to bring up 3rd and 4. Stafford going up and down the line, changing the play. Finally clapping his hands to get him to snap the ball. Fires downfield to Woods, incomplete. We have an injured Baltimore player. Samalo is heading to the sideline. 4th and 4. And again, this huge of a deficit. Baltimore has no other option but to go for it here. Stafford trying to be heard over the crowd. Back to pass. Near sideline, Smith drops the ball. Incomplete. Turnover on downs. St. Louis will get the ball. They'll start at the Baltimore 31. 8:51 to go in this one. Hand off to Stevenson. He's to the 25-20. Mark him down at the 19. Stopped by Locke. 155 yards for Rhamondre Stevenson. And we're starting to see some of the starters being pulled out. James Conner is going to come in now for Rhamondre. Huge round of applause for Rhamondre Stevenson. What a day he's had. James Conner in at running back. He's going to get the handoff. Gets away from a linebacker. He gets to the 15 before he's finally stopped by Locke, a pickup of 5. Now bring up 2nd and 5. Again, St. Louis will await the result of tomorrow's game. DC is the 6th seed. Philadelphia is the 3 seed. St. Louis split their meetings against Chicago earlier this season. Did not face New Jersey. Pitch left to Conner on 2nd and 5. And he's tackled in the backfield by Edwards for a loss of 4. St. Louis got off to a great start, 5-2 at the halfway point, but again, that Week 13 loss versus Detroit, Tua going out with the turf toe injury. They lost every game after that. But what a sweet victory today will be, of course, in the playoffs and being able to move on. And it's going to be interesting. Tua Tagovailoa will come back next week and expected to play in the game against whoever they're going to play next week. Conner the lone setback, 3 wide receivers set, rush, back to pass, fires downfield for Johnson, but it's over his head, incomplete. Clock stops with 6:25, it's 4th down. And Bass in the kicking unit will come out. On for a 35-yard attempt. Snap is good, hold is good. No, and the kick is not good. Bass misses. Really the only down or negative for St. Louis today. So Baltimore will take over from their own 26. Stafford to pass on 1st down, firing downfield for Smith, incomplete. Branch on the coverage. Stafford, not a great day. 16 of 31, 132 yards, 2 interceptions. Draw play to Barkley. Gets to about the 28, a pickup of 2 yards. They'll bring up 3rd and 8. Third down. Stafford completes to Tucker. Has the 1st down. He's the 40. 50 into St. Louis territory, finally tackled out of bounds by Branch. Pick up at 24 yards. Fresh set of downs for Baltimore. Both teams have combined for well over 700 yards in offense in this game. As Stafford looking for Smith-Schuster, and the pass falls incomplete. Clock stops with 4:41. Empty backfield behind Stafford. Penalty flag flies as he completes. No, pass incomplete to Dortch.
Holding offense, number 64, 10-yard penalty.
Karras guilty of the hold. That'll move Baltimore back to its own 42. 4:35 left to go in this one. Stafford with plenty of time connects with Tucker. Out of bounds at the Baltimore 48. I'll stop the clock. Pickup of 6. Arnold with the tackle. It'll bring up 3rd and 14. Tucker, the leading receiver for Baltimore with 6 catches, 64 yards. Stafford with time, looking, and throws it down the field to Dortch, but it's incomplete. 4th and 14. And you guessed it, Baltimore's going to keep the offense out on the field. Two for 5 on 4th down attempts. Gonna need a miracle here. Stafford back to pass. And just a little bit too far ahead of Woods. Melton on the coverage. And it's St. Louis ball. And that's pretty much gonna be it. Mike White's coming into the game now to relieve Cooper Rush. James Conner, the lone running back. And I think St. Louis is going to try to run out the clock as best as possible. Oh, misplaced snap there, fumble. And it's recovered by Baltimore. So White comes in a relief role. He cannot handle the snap, and the ball is turned over to Baltimore. Oh my goodness. Mike White's not going to hear the end of that in film session on Tuesday. You had one job. So Baltimore gets the ball back, 4:09 left to go. Ball at their own 48. Penalty flag.
Offense, number 9, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
And the tight end, Jonnu Smith, flinched. Now cost him 5. 5 penalties, 42 yards against Baltimore. 2 penalties, 20 yards for St. Louis. Stafford back to throw. Over the middle to Dortch at midfield. Tackled by Arnold, a pickup of 9. And they're going to go nutto huddle here. Stafford drifting to his right. Checks down to Smith-Schuster near the 45. Just a pickup of 2, and he's drilled by Simmons. 3rd down coming up. 3:48 left in this one. Blitz coming up the middle. Picked up. Stafford throws incomplete. Clock stops with 3:31. 4th and 4. Baltimore's going to go for it. Need to get to the St. Louis 42. Stafford back to pass. Throws downfield. Tries to hit Dortch in stride, but cannot. Ball goes over to St. Louis. Mike White coming back out again. I did see him do some practice snaps on the sideline with Froholt, the center. So hopefully this translates into some smooth handoffs here, because they just need to do a few to wrap this one up. Being 3rd string quarterback, you don't get to practice that a lot. especially in a live action situation. Hand off to Connor. He's going to sweep around the right side. He's to the 50 into Baltimore territory. A pickup of 8 yards. .413 yards of offense for St. Louis today. As a team, they ran the ball 30 times for 166 yards. Rush, 22 of 28 for 247 yards, 3 touchdowns. He could be up there for honorable mention for player of the game. St. Louis taking their time. Connor with a handoff up the middle. He's going to be about a yard shy of the first down. And that's going to be the final play before the 2-minute warning. Two-minute warning, and the Battlehawks will be moving on to the divisional round. We'll find out who they face tomorrow, whether it will be the New Jersey Hitmen or the Chicago Fire. Two-minute warning. St. Louis comes out of the 2-minute warning, just trying to run out the clock. Kenneth Gainwell now in at running back here on 3rd and 1. Try to pick up the first down, and then they can just run out the clock in victory formation. Ooh, that's going to be close. Oh, he did get it. First down. And Mike White gets to call the best formation in football, victory formation. As the St. Louis Battlehawks, with some unfinished business, they made it all the way to the conference championship last year. Lost to Las Vegas, and of course the realignment this year puts them into we have new conferences, the American and the National Conference. So they will move on to play either their North Division foe, Chicago, or play at New Jersey. Team doing much better than most people thought. A lot of people thought this could be a close game, myself included. But St. Louis dominant in this game. As the seconds tick down to triple zeros, the final score from Cobalt Arena, St. Louis 37, Baltimore 11. Your Replay Sports Channel player of the game, it's quarterback Cooper Rush of the Battlehawks. 22 of 28, 247 yards, 3 touchdowns. So both coaches meet at midfield to shake hands. Congratulations to the Battlehawks. They will be moving on. For the Stallions, the season ends here and the off-season begins. So again, Battlehawks will move on. We await the winner of tomorrow's game. Make sure to stay tuned for our next broadcast. We'll take you over to the National Conference. It'll be the Denver Gold at the Las Vegas Outlaws. You've been watching the Replay Sports Channel. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. This is Glenn Walker signing off.